So I listen to a lot of calls, and what I hear on a lot of calls, and I don't think the reps are doing it deliberately, but it's coming across that way, is they're calling their prospects baby ugly. Now they're not coming out and saying, "Hey, your baby's ugly," but they're doing it in a different way, and it's having a negative impact on the trust and credibility that they build during the sales process. So let me give you an example. Let's say that I'm selling landing page optimization software that helps the VP of marketing increase the conversion rate of inbound traffic into demo requests. Okay. Let's say I jump onto a discovery call with the VP of marketing and I'm like, hey, I was looking at your landing pages and I've noticed a bunch of areas that need to be improved. Is it okay if I share those with you? Like, you just don't know. Like, that person might have spent hours in the evening, late at night, or on the weekend building that landing page. It's not converting. It's a tough topic for them to talk about. Maybe they're accountable for increasing those conversions and they're having tough conversations with their boss every week about the conversion rate. You just don't want to approach it that way, right? In other words, don't call their baby ugly. Try and frame it a slightly different way. So I came up with this slide a long time ago, inspired by another B2B technology company that sold to me and the company I was working at. And I thought, hey, that's a really interesting way of positioning the current state, the old way of doing things, and the future state, the new way, the better way of doing things. Okay. Now, if anyone tells you, hey, don't use slides on discovery calls because you can't close deals, and I see this stuff on LinkedIn all the time, I highly recommend that you unfollow that person and ignore that advice, because I've been using slides for years with me personally and for my teams and seen win rates and got proof points of like 50, 60, 70% win rates using slides all the time. You just have to use the right slide in the right way. So let me give you an example of what this might look like when you're on a discovery call. So you have the old way on the left-hand side, and you have the new way on the right-hand side. And I've just said this is before working with me versus after. Now, this only works if you listen back to a lot of calls, you interview your customers, and you truly understand your personas. Okay. So for me, I'm selling to VPs of sales, CROs, and founders of B2B technology companies. I've been a VP several times, so I understand the language, but I'm always listening for what problems people bring up on calls with me, but also what words do they use to describe those problems. No jargon, no industry jargon, no acronyms, nothing like that. Spell out the words they say. So when I'm on a call with like a CRO, they might say, our team rely on heavy discounts, or they do a lot of spray and pray prospecting. We're just sending out thousands of messages every week, hoping something will stick. So I basically document what I'm hearing, which isn't so good, and I put it on the left-hand side. And then what I do is I just write on the right-hand side, the new way, how I help them and what good things look like as a result. So rather than being spray and pray, it's strategic prospecting. Rather than focusing on features, focus on outcomes. Rather than sending people to sleep, inspire people to change. Right? You get the point. So what I do is I present this. I say, hey, typically when I'm speaking to insert job title at insert company type, what I'm hearing is on the left-hand side, sales teams are stuck spraying and praying. They focus on features too much. They send people to sleep, and they just heavily rely on discounts, and deals end up stalling and slipping and ghosting. Now, before I share, Mr. Prospects, how I can help other teams like yours, I was curious, which one impacts your team the most? They might attach themselves to one, two, or three, or maybe more. But what I want to do is I want to press and I want to figure out, hey, what's the biggest one? Like, what one are you rallying the troops on internally to overcome or to solve or make better? Let's say, for example, it's, I don't know, relying on heavy discounts. I then want to go a layer deeper and understand, well, why do you think that's happening? Most of the time we find out that actually we haven't done a thorough job in building a fantastic business case because we've not really done discovery. We've done like 5 minutes of discovery and then we've done a demo, and then surprise, surprise, they're being challenged internally on the price points. We end up just dropping our pants to get the deal over the line, right? So I get them to attach themselves to something. Then I run a bit of discovery, find out what the real problem is here, what's the root cause. And then I'm like, hey, I think I can help you overcome this. Is it okay if I share my thinking? And I talk through the stuff on the right-hand side. And obviously I tell stories as I'm doing this, right, with those outcomes that I've been able to deliver. And then I qualify and drive next step. So really simple exercise, listen to a bunch of calls. Or another easy one is, if the phone was to ring right now and a prospect was on the other side and they were calling you, and they would say, hey, James, thanks for taking my call. I wanted to talk to your business. My team is struggling with ... What would they actually say is the problem? How would they describe it in their words, not in yours? And then write a bunch of those on the left hand side. It doesn't have to have a funnel. Your business might be very different. Obviously, I'm talking about a sales funnel when I'm talking to VPs of sales and CROs. But figure something out for your context and then write down the problems that you hear on the left hand side. And then what's the better way after working with you? What great things happen? How would you describe it in a different way? And you'll be surprised how many people not only attach themselves to the problem, and it makes discovery so much easier, but also you'll build trust and credibility and reputation, because people will know that you speak to their peers all day long, because those are the words that they're using to describe their problem internally. Now, they know you're a salesperson, but they also might think, hey, this person could probably slip into my shoes because they know so much about my role and the problems that I face and the outcomes I want to deliver. I want to spend time with people like that, not people that just want to show up and throw up. Give this one a go. Hope it helps.